Good morning, everyone. I'm Laura at Perfect Pots, and this morning I'm going to be showing you how to trim up Dragonwing begonias. So maybe you have some Dragonwing begonias in some of your shade planters or even some of your part sun planters. They can take full shade and also quite a bit of sun. So I wanted to show you what they can look like if you do not trim them. We intentionally left this hanging basket kind of go so I can show you how to trim these up, and you'll be amazed at the difference in how clean and tidy this hanging basket looks when we're all finished. So today I'll be trimming a hanging basket, but you can apply these same principles to just one plant in a pot or however many begonias you have. And we're doing this video because we got a special request for trimming up this particular plant. So if you have any other plants in mind that aren't performing well for you or just need a little tidying up and you're unsure of how to do that, just comment below and we'll get back to you either with a quick answer, or if a video is the best option to answer you, we'd be happy to do that too. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is clean up all the brown. So Dragonwing begonias, they bloom profusely throughout the summer. It's a great bloomer for the shade, whereas other plants might not provide a lot of color. Begonias are a great option for that. So they can turn brown after the bloom fades, and they leave these little papery spent blooms behind. So the first thing we're going to do is just trim all of those off. And when I trim, if all of the blooms on a specific stem are completely spent, we're going to cut that stem back to the base, taking care not to cut into the stem next to it, and just look for brown anywhere on your plant and you're trimming that back. This stem right here doesn't even have any blooms on it. They've already dropped to the ground. And this is another benefit of trimming and keeping your begonias clean, is they won't be so messy on your porch, deck, or patio, because you'll be getting those blooms off before they drop to the ground. Now for this one, we have lots of color on this stem, but just one bloom, or maybe two blooms that aren't really in their prime. I'm gonna cut that back just to right here, so we preserve the rest of the color on that stem. It's a little tedious, just like other deadheading, but once you get into it, it'll go quicker than it seems at first. I'm reaching in, getting any brown petals that may have fallen off already. This stem doesn't have anything pretty left. Sorry about that noise. They're putting a new roof on the business behind me, so exciting for them, noisy for us. But that's okay. Hopefully you can still hear me and follow along anyway. So I hope you watched our other video too, just a general video about giving your plants a midsummer haircut. And that has some tips that can also apply to begonias as well. Really, we're just cleaning off anything that's unsightly. Already we're making a difference, you can tell. I like to have a bucket nearby. You can do this with pruners or scissors. Probably not your bare hands for this plant though, because some of the stems just don't come off very cleanly and easily, so it'll go quicker if you use scissors, I think. We've almost got all that brown off, and this is about 2 months worth of brown. So if you trim your plants up once a month or even twice a month, the chore will be much less time consuming, and your planters will look tidy all the time then. All right. So hopefully all of your plants are growing well this summer. If you need a replacement for a plant that underperformed or just isn't making you happy, we still have a greenhouse full of color. So we're gonna be open all summer long. So we'd love to see you if you wanna stop by. Also, our locations at Central Market are open and Kitchen Kettle as well. We have lots of summer annuals here at the greenhouse. We keep getting in new plants, and we're really excited that in a few days we'll be receiving a new pottery shipment as well. So we're just gonna keep on going all summer long. Okay, I think I've got all the brown, so I'm just gonna do a final check here. Make sure I have all the brown. Oh, missed a couple. All right, so that didn't take too long to get the brown. Now, next thing we're gonna do is trim off any leaves that have brown spots or holes in them. So I don't know if you can see back in here, this one just has a little tear where something must have bumped it and it got broken. So we're gonna take that leaf all the way down to where it meets the main stalk. Here's another one. Okay, sometimes you might get a little sunburn on the leaves too. You could take off the worst of those leaves, the ones that have the most brown on them. You don't want to take off too many leaves or it'll look a little bare. But something like this that has a couple little brown spots, it's just a bit of bruising on the leaf, so nothing to be concerned about, but it's not pretty, so we'll take it off. There's a little one, and here's one back here. And then I'm gonna do just a final check to make sure I got all the bruised or brown leaves. So I always like to do that final check before I move on to the next stage. And the next stage is I'm gonna look at the overall shape of the plant. Let's say it's a single plant in your planter, or in this case, it's about 3 plants in this hanging basket. Looking at the overall shape of this plant, and maybe you can see what sticks out to me is this one branch seems to have just had a mind of its own and is kind of out of place with the balance of the rest of the container. So we're just gonna trim that back. We're not gonna hurt it. Sometimes it looks a little funny at first when you first give it a haircut, but before I cut, I'm gonna try to envision in my head what it's gonna look like after I make the cut, so we can avoid that butchered look as much as possible. So let me turn this around so you can see where I'm going to cut. I certainly could just cut right here, but I think that might not do quite enough to keep the balance of the plant, but let me just show you what that would look like. Okay, it's pretty good, but I think actually if we cut here, that'll be right in line with the height of the other stems around it. So I'm gonna just cut off this little brown growth right there. And let's do a final look, see if there's anything else now that we cut off that really unruly stem. Is there anything else that we would trim? And I don't know, I'm really happy with how it is now. If you wanted to be more aggressive, you could possibly take off this stem right here and this one right here, but they almost balance each other out. So I'm happy with where that is, and it really is up to your preference at this point. Just like haircuts of any type. I was trimming up my dog last night. I was working on her ears. I'm kind of trying to figure out how to groom her because she needs to be groomed like every other week. So I was going to try to teach myself how to do it. And let's just say you can get a little carried away, and sometimes things can get too short. So I think I'll stop right here, maybe keep an eye on this planter for the next couple of days and see if I like these longer pieces. You can always make them shorter. So I'm happy with the way that this looks now. Just one final step before we're ready to hang it back up, or before you're ready to walk away from your planter, whatever the case may be. I'm I'm going to show you Bloom Booster, which is one of our essential ingredients in creating a perfect pot. It's this blue powder that you add right to your watering can. So you do 1 scoop of Bloom Booster into 1 gallon of water. And usually I would add the water after the powder. That way, as you add the water, it kind of gets mixed in there. Okay, and it's going to turn your water blue. And it has all kinds of nutrients that are really good for blooming plants to help them perform all summer long. And we're just going to water well now that we're all finished with our haircut of our Dragonwing begonia. And if you've never tried these begonias before, I definitely would recommend them. They come in red, pink, and white. We have several of them in the greenhouse now. We also have lots of other plants if you need to pop in a replacement here or there for your summer planters. We hope your summer is going really well. We'll be here to serve you through the rest of the summer and going into the fall, of course. So thanks for joining us again on one of our tutorial videos, and please comment below, let us know what you'd like to see next, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.